Let me start with a question. Most men over 30 quietly ask themselves, but rarely say out loud, why does desire sometimes feel effortless in your 20s and complicated, unpredictable, or inconsistent later on? I'm Dr. Jessica Hartman, and today I want to talk to you about something that controls your sex drive, your stamina, your confidence, and even how attractive you feel in your own body, yet almost. No one explains it clearly. Your hormones, not in a dramatic way, not in a something is wrong with you way, but in a very real, very chemical, very powerful way. Because here's the truth, most men don't realize. Sexual energy is not willpower based. It's biologically regulated, and when you understand that regulation, everything changes how you feel about yourself, how your body responds, and how others respond to you. Now stay with me, because this is where things get interesting. Most men think sex drive lives in the mind. They believe confidence comes from experience. They assume stamina is about effort. But medically and psychologically, that's not how the male body works. Your desire, your performance, and your sense of masculine presence are controlled by a quiet, internal conversation between hormones. Testosterone is part of that conversation. Yes, but it's far from the whole story. Cortisol, dopamine, prolactin, insulin, and even estrogen all play roles. And they don't just influence erections or libido. They shape how you show up. Your posture, your eye contact, your calm under pressure, your ability to stay present instead of anxious. This is why two men of the same age can live in completely different sexual realities. One feels grounded, energized, quietly confident, the other feels tense. Distracted, second-guessing his own body. Same age, same opportunities, different chemistry. And chemistry doesn't lie. Let me gently challenge a belief many men hold on to. That declining desire is a personal failure. It's feedback. Your body is communicating with you about stress, sleep, emotional load, lifestyle, and identity. Yes, identity. Because hormones don't respond only to food or exercise. They respond to how safe, capable, and in control you feel in your life. When a man feels chronically pressured financially, emotionally, socially, his body shifts into survival mode. And survival chemistry is not sexual chemistry. Cortisol rises, testosterone becomes suppressed. Dopamine sensitivity drops. And suddenly desire feels muted. Arousal takes more effort. Confidence feels forced instead of natural. This isn't weakness. It's biology doing its job too well. What fascinates me as a doctor is how many men try to fix hormonal problems psychologically by pushing harder, performing more, or mentally forcing confidence. But confidence isn't something you act. It's something your nervous system allows. When hormones are balanced, confidence feels quiet, effortless. You're not chasing attraction. You're anchored in yourself, and that anchoring is deeply attractive, especially to women. Women don't respond to performance pressure. They respond to regulated masculine energy calm. Present, grounded, that energy is hormonal before. It is behavioral now. Let's talk about something men almost never connect to. Sex drive, emotional depletion. If you're mentally exhausted, emotionally overloaded, or constantly on, your brain deprioritizes desire. The male body is designed to invest sexual energy. When it senses abundance, not scarcity, when life feels like constant problem solving, libido is often the first thing to go quiet. This is why some men notice their desire returns on vacation, or after a deep night of sleep, or during periods when they feel respected and appreciated. Those moments shift hormonal balance almost immediately. And here's something I want you to hear very clearly. Low desire does not mean low masculinity. In fact, the men most affected by hormonal suppression are often high-functioning, responsible, driven men, men who carry weight, men who don't complain. Your body isn't betraying you. It's adapting, but adaptation doesn't mean you stay there. Medical clarity is empowering, because once you understand how sex drive actually works, you stop personalizing it, you stop panicking. And panic is one of the fastest libido killers I know. Instead, you become curious. You start asking better questions. Am I sleeping deeply enough for testosterone to regenerate? Am I training my body or stressing it? Am I emotionally rested or constantly vigilant? Am I nourishing dopamine or numbing it? Because dopamine, your motivation and anticipation hormone, is deeply tied to desire when dopamine sensitivity is low. Pleasure feels muted, attraction feels dull. This is one reason overstimulation. Chronic stress and emotional burnout quietly flatten sex drive. And when men feel that flattening, many assume something is wrong with them sexually, when in reality, their system is simply overworked. Here's the seductive truth most men don't hear. Sexual power returns fastest when pressure leaves the body. Not pressure to perform, not pressure to desire, not pressure to be on. When hormones rebalance, desire rises naturally. Confidence feels embodied. Arousal becomes responsive instead of forced. And intimacy feels mutual instead of effortful. In the next section, I'm going to show you how men over 30 can gently restore hormonal balance without obsession. Without shame, we'll talk about subtle lifestyle shifts, psychological safety, masculine identity, and why presence, not intensity, is the real foundation of lasting male performance. Now that you understand why your sex drive and confidence are chemically influenced, let's talk about what actually restores male sexual energy after 30 without turning intimacy into a performance project. I'm Dr. Jessica Hartman, and this is where most advice online gets it wrong. Men are told to boost testosterone, hack libido, or optimize performance as if sexual power is a switch. You flip harder with effort, but the male body doesn't respond to force. It responds to safety rhythm and consistency. And that's not weakness, it's sophistication. Let me explain something that often surprises my male patients. The most sexually grounded men I work with are not the most aggressive, intense, or hyper-focused on sex. They are the most regulated. Their nervous systems are calm. Their identities feel stable. Their bodies trust the environment they're in. That trust is hormonal gold. Testosterone doesn't rise when a man is anxious about proving himself. It rises when his body senses confidence without urgency. When stress hormones drop, sex hormones are finally allowed to speak. This is why rest is not laziness, it's hormonal permission. Deep sleep, especially before midnight, is one of the strongest natural stimulants of male sexual chemistry. During those hours, testosterone regenerates, cortisol falls, and dopamine receptors reset. Men who chronically sleep late or lightly often feel desire slipping, not because they're aging, but because their hormones never get to reset. And let's talk about stress. Not dramatic stress, but low grade. Constant stress, the kind that comes from always being reachable, always responsible, always alert. That state keeps cortisol elevated, just enough to suppress libido over time. Your body doesn't differentiate between emotional pressure and physical threat to your nervous system. Pressure is pressure, and when survival hormones stay elevated, desire becomes secondary. Now here's where psychology and attraction intertwine beautifully. When a man feels hormonally balanced, his behavior changes without effort. His voice slows slightly, his eye contact steadies, his movements become deliberate. Women feel this immediately, not consciously, but viscerally. This is why attraction is often described as energy. That energy is chemistry expressed through presence. And presence cannot exist when a man is mentally rehearsing performance. One of the most powerful shifts I guide men through is moving from outcome focus to sensation awareness, not obsessing over results, but noticing how their body feels in the moment. This shift alone reduces anxiety, lowers cortisol, and increases arousal responsiveness. Your body wants to respond. You don't have to command it. Another misunderstood factor is nutrition. Not in a restrictive way, but in a supportive way. Stable blood sugar supports stable hormones. When insulin spikes and crashes repeatedly, testosterone regulation suffers, energy becomes unpredictable. Desire follows. This is why extreme dieting, excessive stimulants, and irregular eating quietly sabotage sexual confidence. And no, this isn't about perfection. It's about rhythm. Hormones love rhythm. Regular movement, not punishment workouts, but strength and grounding signals vitality. Exposure to daylight supports circadian hormones touch. Even non-sexual touch regulates oxytocin, which reduces stress and enhances emotional safety. Yes, emotional safety matters for men too. Men often underestimate how deeply emotional validation influences their desire. Feeling respected, wanted, and not judged allows the parasympathetic nervous system to engage, the system responsible for arousal and connection. When men feel scrutinized or pressured, the body closes. When they feel accepted, it opens. This is why communication matters. Not dramatic conversations, but subtle reassurance. Knowing you are desired without having to earn it changes hormonal response. And let me say something important here. Performance confidence does not come from proving capability. It comes from trusting your body again. Trust returns when you stop fighting biology and start cooperating with it. A man over 30 doesn't need to chase youth. He needs to refine regulation. Mature masculine sexuality is not about intensity. It's about depth. It's slower, steadier, and far more compelling. And women sense that difference. I often tell men this. Attraction deepens when you stop trying to impress and start allowing yourself to be felt. That requires calm chemistry, and calm chemistry comes from honoring how your body actually works. So if you've been feeling disconnected from your desire, less confident than you expect, or frustrated by inconsistency, I want you to hear this clearly from me as a doctor. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are responding logically to your internal environment. And environments can be changed. Start by respecting rest. Stabilize stress, nourish rhythm, release pressure. When hormones rebalance, sexual energy returns. Not loudly, not desperately, but confidently. Quiet confidence is the most powerful form of male sexuality there is. I'm Dr. Jessica Hartman, and the more you understand your chemistry, the more naturally your confidence and attraction will rise.